What's happening? Cameron Chardukian here with another episode of the Daily Developer Show. This is the show where we talk every single day about how you can become a better developer and also how to optimize your lifestyle as a developer. Now, I'm fortunate enough that me and my girl, we were just driving around the city, we got some food, and it's pretty late, but I said, hey, listen, I need some time to record my daily video for the Daily Developer Show. Is that fine? Can you just wait for me maybe 10 minutes before we eat? Is that cool? And she said, oh, of course. Go do your thing. I'm not sure how much food is going to be left when you finish, but sure, go do it. I know that's important to you. And what I want to talk to you about is I think that I'm lucky to be in this situation, but what would the scenario be if, for example, I had a girlfriend or you were dating somebody that wasn't so supportive of your mission in learning to code or becoming a better developer? What would you do then? What should you do, for example, if your girlfriend or I guess this could apply to the opposite gender or genders as well. What should you do, let's just, instead of boyfriend or girlfriend, let's just say, what should you do if your romantic partner is kind of giving you an ultimatum? They say, listen, it's either me or the code. Which one are you going to choose? First of all, what should you do in this situation? It depends. Of course, you have to consider the past history you have with that person, because if you've been with that person for many, many years, and in general they've been supportive about your lifestyle, but it's just when you started coding that maybe something changed about you, right? Maybe in this time you're learning to program, maybe you've been highly stressed because you're working your normal job and you're learning code and you're not making adequate time for your partner. Or maybe you're making time, you're giving them time, but you are not, doing new things with them, or you're not meeting their needs in some way. So I know I've been guilty of doing that in the past, and that's something that could very well be true. So when they say it's either me or the code, first of all, don't take that at face value. What the problem could be is that they don't care if you're learning to code. They love that you're developing yourself, but the problem is, with that focus on yourself at this time, maybe you've been neglecting them in some way. So that would be something to think about. So be introspective and say, listen, I have been learning to code and that's great. I'm developing myself, but have I also been caring about the other person? Have I done everything I could to be the best partner in this relationship? Have I met their needs, and have I still made sure that we have both quality time and new experiences that keep the relationship fresh? That's definitely something you should think about. Now, if we're going to make the assumption then that it actually is black and white, like before we were talking about what if it wasn't black and white? What if the issue wasn't that you're learning to code? What if the issue is just that you were neglecting them in some way? Well, that's something that you've got to figure out. Or if you're not willing to figure out, then you can get out of that relationship. But assuming that relationship's important to you, that's something you can figure out. You can structure your time differently so that maybe you do have time for that person, or you can be more proactive in having new experiences with that person. But now let's talk about the other scenario in which the first person is being supportive, but in this scenario, the other person is just saying, listen, it really is just me or code. You're not being neglectful, but that's just my demands. It's either me or the code. What you gonna pick? In this scenario, I say if they give you an ultimatum, do not back down to the ultimatum for two reasons. The first reason is that if this was truly a good partner for you, they still might not like that you're learning code, but they would at least be flexible to you learning code, but maybe in a different manner, right? So when we were talking about the first scenario, a supportive partner, they will say, hey, listen, the way that things are going right now, you're not giving me enough attention or time, or we're not doing enough experiences. We're not having enough bonding experiences to keep our relationship fresh and growing and getting deeper. Maybe they're not as, what is the word, very good with articulate. Maybe they're not so articulate that they can explain things in that way, but that's the general vibe they're giving off. A supportive partner will be willing to accommodate your lifestyle if you are willing to make sure that you can still put in a very true and sincere effort to meet their needs. A selfish partner, on the other hand, will say, hey, listen, man. Listen, I just need all of you. Listen, I can't have you focusing on this code stuff. That's taking away attention from me. So if somebody is like that, I say don't give in to the ultimatum first, because they're not somebody that is willing to support you. And the other thing is that if you do give in to that ultimatum, how is that going to affect the dynamic of your relationship? If you do give in to that ultimatum, you're going to put them in a position of power in the relationship. And then who knows? Maybe 2 months, 6 months, a year down the road, you're going to find another ultimatum. And maybe that's something that they're just never willing to compromise or be supportive about what you need to do to get your life the way you'd like it to look. So again, let's go over what we talked about. Should you choose your partner, your romantic partner, or should you choose learning to code? I would say there are few scenarios in which you should give up code entirely. I think that if you in general, if you have a quality partner, they might feel that learning to code has had a negative effect on your relationship, but they will also be willing to accept you continuing to learn code if you can identify that the root of the problem is not learning to code. The root of the problem, or the reason that you guys are having issues in the relationship, is some other cause. For example, like I said before, not having enough new experiences together, not spending enough time together. On the other hand, if it's just black and white, it's code or them, and it doesn't matter how much you think about their needs, they're just saying, listen, dude, I am not going to be dating no developer, then that's somebody you should probably let go. So, I hope this video was useful for you. Remember, the Daily Developer Show, as its name would suggest, is a daily show. So please subscribe, and we'll be coming at you with more content again tomorrow.